Hello, welcome to Country Stitchers. I'm Liz.
Hi, I'm Deb.
And it's been a couple weeks.
Woo! Yes, it has.
Posted a nice decor video.
Oh, thank you.
I hope to get completely through it soon. Life has been different. We have 4 granddaughters at our house now. Deb got to come over, her and her family, and we celebrated our second oldest granddaughter's birthday last week. Kelsey turned 13, so it was a big birthday.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it was, oh man, it was great fun. It was a lot of energy, but great fun. And so we've been busy with the granddaughters, but Kylie and I went out shopping just Saturday, school supplies, clothes, shoes, whatever. And they were decorating for Christmas.
Oh, did you go to the mall?
Kohl's.
Oh.
And then I had Ivan's PAT test on Monday, and the mall was decorated already.
Yeah. Well.
And then I realized, right, it's a week till Black Friday.
Yeah. I mean, you usually are finished Christmas shopping.
I am.
You know, by now.
And I did get to pick up a couple things for the first time
on
Saturday.
Did you? Yeah. Well, you know, holidays are here. I'm not going to decorate for Christmas until after Thanksgiving, but Black Friday is a big deal.
Yes.
You know, to get all of the amazing and wonderful sales, and that is
and
wonderful.
This year, I think people are going to be out and about on Black Friday.
Yeah, I think so. McKenna and I are going to go out too. But people do a lot of online ordering as well. But Liz and I, you know how much we love to share one of our absolute favorite companies with you, Ana Luisa.
Yes.
And we have a few new pieces of jewelry to share with you today.
We do.
And let you know about an awesome Black Friday sale they're having that you will benefit from.
Yes. And do you want to show yours first?
Oh, yeah, I do.
All right.
I got 2 rings this time because I've always wanted to have a band. I never had like a wedding band, and I wanted a band to go with my wedding ring. And so I absolutely love this thick band that I got. It's so beautiful. And I just love it. I love it with my ring. And this one is called Wiley. And then I got this ring because one of our viewers sent me a picture of something she got, and she said about this ring. When I looked it up, I'm like, oh, I love it. It's beautiful.
It is.
And I just think that's so cool. And I like having something on a different finger.
Yes.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is. I
never wear rings on this finger, ever. I like that. And then I thought, wouldn't it be cool to put it on your thumb, too? I know, I'm going to try it.
The one ring I got from Ana Luisa, I can get on my thumb.
Oh, I like it.
That's nice.
I like it. That's pretty cool.
That actually almost looks like a thumb cuff.
That's pretty cool.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm going to keep it on my thumb.
Nice.
Very cool. So those are my 2 new fun pieces.
And I wanted to get something different. Well, I mean, I've kind of done a variety so far, but I found another ring. This one is called Nala.
I didn't even see that one.
She saw it when I showed it to her.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
And then I found a bracelet that I thought went really pretty with it. It is the bracelet that sort of closes here like a bolo tie.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it has a nice little stone inset. And it's called Laura Blair. And I just thought this, with the combination of that band, was a real pretty combination.
It is beautiful.
But guess what? I decided I had to stack a little bit.
I know, yeah.
And so I put on my bangle. Now, this is no longer on their site, but they did have other bangles you can check out.
That's one thing we love to do, is layer pieces. I mean, I just love to layer the bracelets that I get, and then the necklaces too.
And so this is the Nugget.
Oh, you've had that one for a little while, right? Okay, yeah, it's
and also
beautiful.
my Suzanne earrings, the ones that we like so much.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty accessorized now, except for I didn't tell you about these 2 rings.
Oh, yeah, that one.
This one is a band that I got, and I thought it was Wiley until Deb got hers, and that's when I realized this is actually called Nell.
Okay.
And it's a narrower band. And this one is called Slim Rope. But I started wearing my father's wedding band on my index finger a long time ago. And so now I switch them out with my other pieces.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we wanted to tell you that this Black Friday sale coming up is a 60% off, buy one, get one, 60% off.
Yeah.
BOGO is
Yeah.
what they refer to it as. And they've got some really nice new pieces out there.
Yes, and this way you'll have it in time for Christmas.
Yes, and they are very prompt at shipping. And we always tell you about their unconditional guarantee, 1 full year, and they are just tremendous with their customer service.
Yeah, they are. They're a great company. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So we love to share good news like that with you.
Yes. So get your shopping done. Enjoy Black Friday. Enjoy the online shopping too.
I know. I can't believe it.
And be sure to use the link in our description box when you place your order. And we'll be back around to tell you about some more specials a little later this year. And you might remember now, as we move forward in our talk here, that we're celebrating ourselves, our 20,000 subscribers. And so you don't want to leave, especially if you want to have some fun with the questions that they sent. So today is 20 questions. And before we get going, I wanted to share something with you. Last video, a floss tuber that I saw and was just, well, she did a piece that I'm actually working on a similar piece. Well, it's actually really not true.
I was going to say,
She's doing,
yours is like...
yes, but it's the same artist. That's what I was trying to say. Her name, the floss tube is Rocking Stitcher, and I will link her in the description box. She finished a full-size piece by Randal Spangler. He does these little green dragons, and Kelsey, my second oldest granddaughter, loves dragons. So she's always been fond of this pattern I bought, but I bought a story marker, a storybook marker, page marker, I guess they call them. And so mine's going to be about that big, and hers
is like,
she had to stand back in her room and hold it up. It's that big.
Yeah.
It's huge. And
it is.
And she waited to put in her last stitches until morning when her son got up, because he had helped and watched
I thought that
and
was so
followed
cute.
it. It was.
Yeah, that was really
so
sweet.
Anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and you want to be sure to see it. And I forgot to tell you about it on our last video, so I wanted to bring that up.
Very cool.
And we've got some acquisitions
Yeah,
since we were together.
We got some fun things from Fat Quarter Shop we wanted to share with you. All of these are available on their website. Some new floss drops with little bees on them. Really cute. And then for the quilters out there, you can get all different sizes of the quilting page squares to help do your quilts even quicker and easier. Also, and these range anywhere from 4.5 down to 1 inch squares. So very cool. Makes things very easy.
You know what that struck me when you showed me those?
What?
I was such a geek as a kid. At 6 years old, I
Yeah.
was using my dad's
Very
old
cool.
briefcases and carrying around little note tablets and file folders with absolutely no purpose in it other than to be a geek
Yep.
and a nerd. And that just really strikes that chord.
I know. I used to love that too. And the quilt pattern called Geneva.
That is really pretty.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Those colors are beautiful. And a gorgeous book called Rose in Bloom. Absolutely pretty.
There's a really pretty picture of it on the back too. It's really gorgeous.
Yeah, that is gorgeous. And then one other thing that we wanted to show you. We're in love with this new storage system from Fat Quarter Shop. It is a really well-made, gorgeous, clear container drawer that opens, and you have 6 compartments in there. No. Yeah, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, if I could count today. But I've decided to use this for my Aurifil that I'm collecting and building my stash. I don't know what are you putting in yours? Do you know yet?
I have not decided.
These are great. They have like little feet on the bottom, so they're not going to slide all over the place. They're really heavy.
They're very sturdy.
They are really, really great. I love them. I would love to have like 3 or 4 of those babies. That's awesome. I love that you can see absolutely everything in there.
I was just going to say they'd also be really pretty to decorate with, and the things that you could put in the different compartments.
I know. They are fantastic. Love that. So thank you very much, Fat Quarter Shop.
Yes.
That was awesome. Did you get anything new?
Yeah, I did. Actually, in the midst of having when I said the 4 granddaughters are with us, they arrived, and then we spent a week from the time we knew they were coming to stay with us for a while. We rearranged the house. So we've completely changed bedrooms and furniture, and our family room's now in the basement. So it's been very busy. But in the meantime, I still had time to check out some things. I want to show you something I found. Now, I take all opportunities to shop, and I found these, of all places, at Pineview Dairy.
Did you?
They had these. They are bottle caps, but they're vintage bottle caps. And when I say vintage, I mean they still have the cork inside of
they're
them.
actually
from
vintage.
the day when they were in that. Do you remember the old glass bottles that you pulled out of the old refrigerators for soft drink?
Yeah.
One at a time. I think that goes back to that time period. So I'm just going to use another earth magnet behind them as needle minders.
Perfect.
So I picked up a variety of them, a couple little packages, but and the funny thing was I picked out the ones, of course, I used to drink. So it's Pepsi, Coke, 7-Up, grape. I always thought that was funny. The name of it was imitation grape soda. Isn't that funny? Not the real grape soda, just the imitation grape soda. And then my favorite one up here is the Diet Dr. Pepper, or just plain Dr. Pepper with the sort of the 10, 2, and 4 on the surface. So anyway, that was a lot of fun when I found those.
Very cool.
And then, you and I were together when we found
went out
this.
shopping. I should have brought mine.
We
I had a
forgot
couple
to
different
show
ones, too.
you. We brought this back from the shore. We popped into Home Goods. And I thought they were just really attractive for the craft room. But this twine is so great for packages, things that you want to tie up. So I thought how pretty that would be to sit on the counter.
I know, yeah.
And functional.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
And then you could even like mount it on your wall like this if you needed to hang something on it.
Yeah. I think I got 3 of them.
Did you really?
I did. I got silver, gold, and red.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you just had. I only saw the one in your cart when you walked by.
Gotta look better.
Well, and this time we actually both finished shopping about the same time and got up to the checkout. And was I through first?
Yeah, you were through first.
I actually got through first this time.
Yeah.
Usually,
that was fun.
I'm like, she's still texting me, where are you now? Bringing up the rear. And then Deb finished a piece and showed you how she finished it. And I could not wait to get some in the event that I want to finish something that way. So I picked up some of those poster hangers that she showed. I picked up some blonde ones, some of the black ones, and I got some little bit longer black ones. So I got 3
and then
different
I have the really
lengths.
long ones if you need those.
Okay. So I'll put that big storybook in it.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, and I had a couple questions about when I had finished mine. People were wondering, how did I get the layers of chipboard in between those poster hangers because they're magnetic? No, for this finish, I had mentioned that I had permanently adhered my poster frame because there's 2 layers of chipboard here plus batting plus fabric. Well, that would have made it way too thick in between, the poster hangers. So for this piece, it is permanently attached to the bottom and the top just sandwiched, together. If I didn't have like all the chipboard and everything, it was just I wanted to do a soft finish where it was my stitching and just a piece of fabric on the back, maybe a little interfacing in between, but that was it. Then it would definitely work where you could use them where they actually magnetize together. That's because they are pretty strong, but this is just so thick, so that would have looked a little silly having all that space in between.
Silly girl.
So there you go.
I also, I should actually, I did a little more shopping. We hit Staples for a couple binders, some organizers, and some water bottles. Wait till you see what I found.
What?
Pastel friction highlighters.
Aren't they pretty?
And you know what? They would look so much nicer on our copies and our patterns than the really bold ones.
Wow.
Aren't they cool?
Yes.
So if you haven't seen these were a Gadget Corner item when we did highlighters.
Very cool.
They've been around for a while. Pilot makes them. I
Very
love them.
cool.
That's your set.
Very cool. It is?
It is.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I was just going to say, oh my gosh, I want to borrow one. Oh, thank you.
She
They are
usually
so
ends
cool.
up coming to the house to stitch and says, "Have you got
Every
a highlighter?"
time. Every time.
That and a needle. So now we get you set for the highlighters. But I just love those colors.
I do too.
I can't wait to see what they look like. I haven't opened
so
mine yet.
cool. And that they're the friction ones too.
Uh-huh.
So cool.
Yep.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Thank
and then there was
you.
only one other thing that, and I didn't actually intentionally acquire this, but I do have to renew my subscription. I was so excited. I came back from another day of trying to get things set up and organized, and I had mail, and it was my new Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine.
Beautiful.
This is that great Christmas edition that they do, and there are some really fun things in this issue. Isn't that
yes.
adorable?
Yes.
I'll show you. I'm not going to do anything with the inside of the magazine, but
gosh.
this is so bright, and I just love that
It is fun.
snowman. He's great, and there's a Biscornu.
Wow. I love that thing around the candle, all kinds
Yes,
of stuff. Oh my
it
gosh,
is
that's
just-
a great one.
It's full of great patterns.
That's
this is an awesome issue. It says 30 projects. So
There you go.
anyway, check your local needlework stores, go online, and you'll find the availability. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yes,
I have to renew my
I just
subscription.
need to stay up late enough after everybody else is through with homework and everything else so that I can sit down quietly and enjoy it.
Yeah,
I haven't done that yet.
yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
I haven't touched a needle yet.
I was going to say, you really, she's been just go, 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 go. Oh
I didn't know
my
I had
goodness.
it in me, to be quite honest, but
It's been busy. I mean,
It has.
I've been busy too, but in different ways, not with 4 kids.
no, but we wouldn't have pulled off the birthday party without her and McKenna.
Oh, no,
I
that
was
was so much
so
fun.
glad you
It
helped.
was fun.
So glad. So anyway, that's
my.
those are my acquisitions.
And yesterday I wanted to have a little bit of stitching time and it just, I don't know, didn't really work out. But like our washer and dryer conked out.
Oh yeah.
So, that's a pain in the butt to get that delivered and set up and all that stuff and then clean up. And then, Hank he is on the naughty list. Oh my. Yesterday, I still can't believe he did that.
I can't believe how strong he is.
Thank the Lord McKenna was home yesterday because she's downstairs cleaning. I was up here cleaning up after the guys left, with the washer and dryer, and she comes running upstairs. Mom, the cows are out. I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's like, all of them, they're out. I'm like, oh no. So we go running out there, and I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure somebody was just, again, left the gate open and all that. No, Hank actually lifted the gate off of the bolts. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. And he was helping himself to a bag of feed in the barn. And oh my gosh, it was just what a mess.
Snack time.
So she called Logan, and I'm like, just leave school because you got to come. We got to get them in. None of them were going to be haltered.
And he's thinking, I never thought I'd get that phone call.
Yeah, he's like, okay.
I'm on it.
So he's on his way home, and I'm like, call your dad. I'm going to go up, and we're going to need to call Tim, the neighbor. We need help here because with, you got to block them from all different ways. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was. So we took care of getting the other ones in, thankfully. And Hank, he's a big boy, like
Yes, he
big,
is.
big boy. And you just don't want to get in between him and food.
Mm-hmm.
So he was happily eating the entire bag of feed. And
Now, are we talking like 50-pound bag of oats and corn and like sweet feed?
it's a big bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had his nose down and it was just
Like
eating away.
up to his head.
So his butt was sticking out of the barn. And, as much as we tried to deter him and try to get him back in the field, he did not want any part of it. Well, sure enough, Logan gets home, right? Comes down to the barn. He sees him, he yells, Hank. Hank backs out of the barn, looks at Logan. Logan's walking down to the field. I had picked up the gate and moved it. So Logan walks in. Hank, come on, get in here now. What are you doing? And Hank listens. He just follows him right in. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, so that was fun. But anyway, everybody's back in and Matt secured the gate on the other side so that hopefully,
Okay.
hopefully.
I was going to ask you if you could, like, in your mind, figure out how he actually accomplished that.
He had to lift it up. It just
Like,
lifted.
do you think he put his head through it and then lifted his neck? Like, lifted it with his neck?
I guess.
Yeah.
Or at least his nose. I don't know. Because it was still chained on the other side. But it was down. I was like, guys, we're free. So he's on the naughty list.
Naughty list.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But I did get a little bit of stitching done. I'm sorry that you did not.
Yes.
But
I got a lot done though, just not stitching.
you did.
I
Oh
did.
my goodness, yes.
Yes.
So I'll show you what I got finished. Not finished, but worked on. I got out. Yes. What?
I was going to say, I don't think I told you. Maybe
What?
I did. That Kylie's thinking about wanting to start stitching again.
Awesome.
So.
That's wonderful. I got back out the Autumn Beauties mystery sampler, or mystery stitch. It's not a mystery anymore. But if you, I think you can still get it off of Fat Quarter Shop if you want to stitch it. It is a beautiful fall stitch. I am very behind, but that's okay. I'm doing mine over one on 25 count prim, I think is what it is.
The hurrier I go, the behinder I get.
There you go. Yeah. So I am stitching it over one. I've changed a couple of the colors and I'm adding some back stitching to give it a little more definition in certain places. But it's so cute. Love it. Well, that's what I have so far. Okay.
Muy bien.
Oh, thank you. Yes, if I don't put it all away, I'll be missing pieces later.
There's nothing worse than missing one page
I know.
out of a pattern.
Yeah, you just found one earlier. Remember that you were
did.
looking for? Then I decided you didn't know I was stitching this.
I did not.
I went shopping a while ago and I found something in a store where right away I thought, oh, I got to finish something with this. Love it.
Okay.
So I've had it downstairs for quite a while. And the other night while I was trying to sleep, this came to me.
Okay.
So I got out the Prairie Schoolers, the Christmas trees pattern. And I'm going to be stitching a few of these trees on a couple different fabrics. So I went ahead, and this was just a green from my stash, so I'm not sure what this one's called, but I stitched this tree, and I didn't use all cross stitches. I used straight stitches for the, like the needles. That was supposed to be cross stitch, but I thought this was pretty. Then I did the one with the gingerbread and the snowflakes. And then I did a little one in the same design as the first one. Then I have this fabric, which is called Swamp, and it's 32 count, and I stitched this tree.
So you're putting together a grove?
I'll have to tell you then. I'm going to save it as a surprise. But I'm changing the sizes. Obviously, I want different heights of trees. So this is not like the full pattern, and I made it a little fatter at the edges. But I have, what do I have, 4 stitched here? I have to stitch at least 2 more. I did leave him out, okay. Yeah. There was supposed to be like a little Santa down in the corner. I don't want it to be like extremely Christmassy. A little bit, but not crazy Christmas, because I want to kind of leave it up all winter. So I'm excited to get at least 2 more trees finished, and then hopefully get it together as I have it in my mind, and hopefully it works and it looks good. So
nice.
Thank you.
That's funny because when I was cleaning up right before we started rearranging the house, I had finished pretty much going through my projects and trying to decide what I wanted to work on. And I pulled out a Prairie Schooler, but it was the one that has the trees in the background and then the village in the front.
Oh,
remember that when I started?
I was looking at that one downstairs too.
Yep.
Then I did just a little bit more work on the post office, Little House Needleworks, for my phase 3 of the building project. But I really want to get these trees finished so I can show you that. And
this you had started last time I was with you.
Yeah, so I got a little bit more done.
Nice.
Thanks.
So will Christmas presents get delivered this year on that, or no? Probably not.
Probably not.
So you're just as good as the post office then?
Probably not.
A yellow,
it'll be back ordered.
DHL truck pulled in across the street today.
Yeah.
I had Ivan out front before I came over.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what in the world he was carrying on about. And I know they say animals are colorblind. that they don't see color the way we do?
Yeah, how'd they know that?
I don't know. I often wondered that too.
I always thought that. Like, how do they know?
But, you know, how do you see what they see? But they actually, he must have noticed something because that yellow truck was parked, nobody was around, and it had him just talking up a storm.
Yeah?
And that's the only thing I can imagine is that it was the color.
Oh.
Something was different about it. He was letting me know.
Yeah. He knew something you didn't know. I didn't start any work on this yet, but I also have a finishing idea for this. I don't know if you remember, but Les Mo's at Stitches Unlimited, I got this pattern, and it shows the back and the front of that gingerbread house. I think it's adorable. So I found some fabric in my stash that I think is really pretty. It's that one there. Do you like that? It's called Vintage Autumn Gold. It's 40 count and it's by Lakeside Linen.
Wow, that's really rich.
And I really like it. It has a tiny bit of modeling, but I love the color. And then,
Did you say the count?
Yeah, count 40.
40.
Yeah. For the finishing idea I have to do 40 count.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and save that as a surprise. I hope I get it done by Christmas. But there's
So it's for me?
There's my, well, you're going to benefit somewhat from this finish because I think you're going to like what I put it in, so I had to get you one too.
Aw.
Then I went to Hobby Lobby and was able to get most of the DMC that goes with this. They're like really bright colors. These are so not me. However, it's a gingerbread house. You got to have like,
Are you missing some stuff?
yeah, there's like 3, I think,
Well,
that I
holler
don't
at me
have.
with
3
the
or 4
numbers.
that I don't have. Not many, but
Pretty good chance I have them.
yeah, okay, I'll check. But yeah, there's a few that I don't have. So I got the DMC, and I'll be able to start that.
Reminds me, can I
I'm
hit you up
excited
for your,
for the finish.
what is that snow that I have to put on my stand for my snow globe? Because
Oh,
I got
yeah,
that
yeah.
out to finish this year.
Yes,
So I need to hit you up for that.
yes, you may.
Cinco.
And I did a little bit more stitching on my,
This is so pretty. Wait till you see this. I hadn't seen it in a while, and it is gorgeous.
yeah, on my piece that I'm kind of coming up on my own. Thanks, Liz.
Yep.
So remember I finished the Mary Beale wreath in the middle, and now I'm working from this corner down. And right now I'm stitching the Lord's Prayer. And I'll show you the pattern I'm using, but what I'm doing is I'm changing the fonts throughout the stitching so that it just kind of gives it a lot more interest. And then I'll be adding different, motifs, like this bunch of wheat right here is also going to be on this side. And I'm just going to continue to change the fonts on the way down. And my peacock is finished and all that good stuff up there. The butterfly is for McKenna. So lots of different charts. As you know, if you've been watching us for a little while, I'm just kind of stitching whatever I want, wherever I want, like whatever speaks to me, so that I can kind of make this my own. And I left all of this over here because I want to show you that is truly how I stitch. I always have a rat's nest. And I always have like my threads that I'm working with, like right now, I'll have them all up here, scattered up here. And then there's my scissors. And I definitely always keep a rat's nest somewhere on there.
And she leaves all her little trimmings on my side table.
I do.
She does.
I want her to be like, oh, Deb was here.
She does. She does. I swear it's intentional because they're literally like parked right next to where I sit.
So since I'm changing the fonts and picking a lot of different alphabets and things like that, I have shown this book before, but it's just a really cool go-to book if you ever see it, I don't know, at a yard sale or anything like that. It's from Better Homes and Gardens, and it's called The Cross Stitcher's Big Book of Alphabets and Borders. So I am getting a few things out of here. See how I have them marked?
And I think we linked that
I think you did at one point, yeah.
in a description box, and it was available on Amazon, I believe, at the time.
This is the pattern from Stony Creek, the Lord's Prayer. But like I said, I'm not stitching it like that. I'm just changing it up as I go. I'm using the wheat right there, and I'm using the font sometimes, but that's about it. Then I get a lot of different motifs out of this book that Liz and I love, the Ultimate Sampler Motifs Source Book. This also has some cool alphabets in it as well. And I found a sampler of Psalms, and I think I'm going to use some, some of this also in my sampler.
May I see that?
You may. Liz
I have this
said
one too.
that I really need to stitch a log cabin on there, and she's right, I do, since we live in a log cabin. Well, I love this pattern by Heartstring Samplery. It's called Prairie Life Sampler, but I don't need to stitch the whole thing. I love the log cabin with some of the trees though at the top, and that's what I'm going to put on this sampler somewhere. I'm going to do that cabin and the trees, not the bear though, but I think that'll be really cool to put on my sampler.
And I just wanted to let you know this, the reason I looked at this is also the one I collected out of the Just Cross Stitch magazines. These are
that's where it
old
came from.
issues.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it's the November, December 2011 is the first part of it. And it was done quarterly. And it was by Phyllis in, I don't know if she actually designed it, but it's in before Annie's Crafts took over Just Cross Stitch was when this was introduced. So I think there are still back issues out there on their site.
December 11 or
2011.
2011. Okay. All right.
November, December. Last one for the quarter.
Okay. So I will be using that log cabin and some of the trees off of this. And I don't know, whatever else strikes my fancy as I kind of build that. A couple people,
your sneakers squeak.
That's right. And a couple of you are wondering if Hank's going to be on there. Yeah, he'll be on there somewhere. Yeah.
In all his glory.
That's right.
He'll
be there. All right, that is...
Not in a feed bag, though.
I hope not.
No.
I hope not. So hopefully...
that is looking so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And I'm still using the silk threads from when I stitched the wreath in the middle. So those were hand-dyed fiber silks. We love those. I'm still using those as, you know, my color palette. And I just kind of pick whatever color I want to stitch with when I'm choosing the design.
Yep.
So that's that. That's all I have. I should have probably got more work done than that, but I didn't. That's it.
Tis what it is.
That's right.
We had 2 adoptions. Well, actually, we had 3. But we're only having 2. And I'm sorry to say that is because I forgot that the holly pattern I showed you, the piece that I had started, I went to collect the pattern for that when I showed you, when I was pulling it together to be able to give it away, and realized that I had that was the perforated paper that wasn't completely punched. I had gotten a second piece, and I had another set of buttons that went on it. But I gave that away when I first started doing some of my adoptions, and the pattern went with that. So the one that I ran across in my archive projects was just the piece I never finished, and it didn't have the pattern with it. So that won't be being adopted. However, the gardening piece, which is the Heart by...
Got it?
Yep, right here. It is the Seika and Company heart with all the different stitches on it. This one is going to Patty Miller. So, Patty, email me. In the description box is our Country Stitcher email address, and I will get your information, and we will get that out to you. And then this one is the Cricket Collection Easter. And this one is going to go to Emily. And Emily, your last name is spelled Wittenbenberg. If that's you, you can email me too. I didn't want to mispronounce your name, but Wittenbenberg, perhaps.
I think that sounds good.
So congratulations.
Yes.
And these are both timely pieces. You could finish these up for springtime, Easter and that heart. So
yeah, definitely.
That'll be fun.
Yes.
And
you have a finish.
I do. I had a finish.
I love this.
This was my newest fob. I got it when we were down in Ocean City, Maryland at Salty Yarns in October. And it's by Fern Ridge Collections. And this one's called The Gathering. And it caught my eye because it's very different from some of the ones they've done in the past. It's simple, but the colors I just absolutely fell in love with. So I put it on a black pair of scissors for display purposes.
Oh, that is adorable.
But I really like it. It actually has some deep blue iris sort of colors in the center. And then these beads I've discovered down at the bottom, some of them are called Dalmatian, the little black and white spotted ones. And then up here at the top, these little earthen color beads are very different.
Very pretty.
And I told Deb, I said, I'm really leaning towards this being one of my favorite ones so far.
Yeah, I know, me too. And the colors are even prettier in person than on that picture.
Yes, the picture
so
does not do it
perfect.
justice.
Love it.
So,
Beautiful.
that is the gathering, whoop, as it spins around.
And that's perfect for fall.
It is. That's what I liked about it. And it's not as long as some of the ones I've done, but it's also not quite as small as the pear, the other fall one I have. So I like that.
Very, very cool. Very pretty.
And now we're at the fun part.
Yes, we are.
So we were going to play 20 questions as a way of just engaging our viewers in celebrating the fact that we'd made a milestone on our video. And we do want to thank everybody for joining us at Country Stitchers. We also don't want to miss the opportunity to say thank you to everybody that helps make this industry as special as it is. The designers, the local needlework shops, the manufacturers, just everybody. It's just, it's truly emerging again as a completely new craft and art form.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It just continues to amaze me how many new patterns come through the door at the shop every week.
Yeah.
The designers just seem to constantly be inspired. So we chose from all the questions that you posted on the last video, we chose 20 questions that we're now going to answer, and every one of you is going to get something from us as a thank you. And then the winner gets a little something, something special. And I just covered that up.
Our very top pick will get something along with her goodie bag.
Yes. Our
So
very,
we'll let you know that then in a little bit.
yes, you will know who that is shortly.
Okay. So I'm going to start reading, and then Liz and I are going to answer. So every name that you hear from now on, the next 20 names, you're all winners. Okay? April Jackson. So her comment said, if the house was on fire and you knew your family and pets were already safe, what stitchy finish would you grab while getting out the door/window?
It was funny because I actually have thought about that many times when I had everything packed in that tiny little bedroom in the back of my house. I thought, oh my gosh.
So what would you choose?
Well, I actually thought that I would, because the patterns and fabric and threads and everything are kind of replaceable, I thought I would just grab one of my bins out of the bookshelf, dump it, and grab everything I could get out of that curio cabinet on my way out the window.
Oh, yeah, your curio cabinet.
Because that's just filled with all the pieces that I really spent a lot of time finishing and stitching. And I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. You'd have to run through the house gathering all your frame pieces off the wall. You'd have to like put on your track shoes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I was further along with this piece, because I'm making this so special just for me,
Right.
I would say this one, which I'm speaking of. You can't see what I'm pointing at.
That's what she just showed you.
Yeah, my Maryvale wreath with the sampler I'm creating around it. But I guess right now I would probably grab that large piece off the wall, like the Around the World sampler that I did. Probably that one. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I'd probably grab as much as I could.
I did think that I could just grab handfuls of the floss that are on my wall.
Oh, you're going to just grab floss?
Yeah, handfuls of it. Oh, well, I could throw it in with the bin,
that's funny. Okay, next one. Allison Norris. You're both such experienced stitchers and will stitch on anything over 1 or 2. It doesn't matter. And I'm sure someone will ask, what is your favorite count or type of fabric? And she also wanted to know what our favorite specialty stitch that you think is fun or that you love how it looks. So what's your answer there?
Fabric. I don't know if I have a favorite. I know people have favorite counts, and I am enjoying 36 and 40, but I also have done some fun things on Claustern, which is that 7 count. So
oh, yeah.
it just depends on the piece. As far as stitches go, I think 2 of them come to mind. The Aztec stitch that we did in the class with Betsy Morgan. And then I like queen stitches.
Yeah.
I really do.
Okay.
So
I
those
can't
would be...
say I love this.
I know. I've heard you mutter when you're doing them.
Although, just like any specialty stitch, the more you do it, the better you get. So my queen stitches look a lot better now than they used to. That's for sure. I love the Bargello stitch, and there's lots of different variations of that stitch. That's fun, and it just looks so that silky sleek, and how you can like blend the colors.
Yes.
I think that is so sharp looking.
That's
whenever I see it on any there's a couple samplers where they'll have that on. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Favorite count. I don't see. It depends on the pattern. I love 46 count, but I stitched that pillow, that Do Not Pout. Remember that one? And was that Claustern? That was huge.
No, that
was that?
That was a 16 count over 2, I think is what we did. Trying to remember the name of it. I thought
you had a different name. You had a different name for the fabric though. But it's so large, and that was fun, and it was very different.
That wasn't a Tula, was it?
Oh, maybe that was it.
Okay.
Maybe that was it.
Okay.
But that was a lot of fun. I don't know.
It's hard.
It is. It's very hard. Yeah. But I know I do like 46 count. I don't know. I like it all. That's my problem.
Bring it on.
Okay. Amy Montoya. What is your favorite must-have can't stitch without stitching tool? Can't live without.
Needle comes to mind. Haven't had one of those in my hands for a while. Yeah, I
gotta have that.
Yeah, I definitely can't stitch without that. So, but if I had to actually pick a tool that I like to have next to me and I always make sure I grab, it's my little stick that has the needles on each end. One of them's been cut off, and it has just the eye that you can use to tuck your tails in. And the other one is the tip end of the needle that's just slightly bent. They were made quite a while ago. You can still get similar tools. They're made by Rainbow Gallery now, but the one I had was actually finished. The little shaft and Rainbow Galleries they're just white. They're not the same. But I like my
I think mine would have to be some kind of magnification. Whether it's a clip-on magnifier or little mag eyes, or just my cheater glasses that I wear. Like, these are real, but the cheater ones, well,
nope, they're computer
then
generated.
I have lots of fake ones. So I would say some kind of magnification, definitely. Okay, Anne-Marie Mikowski. If you had to pick a finish that Liz has done, what would be your favorite? And if you had to pick a finish that I did, what would be your favorite?
I'm sort of torn. But I think the oh my gosh, that is so clever one that caught my attention in the more recent years was the snow globe that you built. I just think that was...
The one, which one?
The snow globe that has the snowman, Brenda Gervais,
okay.
that we gave away at
yes.
Stitches Unlimited.
Yeah.
The one that I'm going to borrow your stuff to do. Yeah, that one just... I remember seeing that and thinking, oh my word, that's phenomenal. I did like that one.
Okay, all right. For me, I love all your peyote stitching. And I like your little book that you did with that Aztec stitch, how you finished that.
Okay.
That whole thing, that tiny, tiny little thing.
Yeah.
But then again, I love your Santa chair too. You have so many awesome smalls.
Do you know, Casey was here in the summertime. She's one of the twins. And the other day she was in the craft room and she was just looking in the cure cabinet. She said, Mom, you have things in here that weren't in here when I was here this summer. And she's looking and she said, that chair wasn't here this summer. And she picked right up and I thought, wow, she actually pays attention.
Nothing gets by her.
Nope.
That's right. All right, Nancy Harbath. Her question is to both of us. She would love to know if our families enjoy our needlework that we display in our houses as much as we do. She's like, her family doesn't even notice.
I was just thinking,
Well, you just said, though, about how
Yeah.
your granddaughter notices
Yep.
and appreciates it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my family appreciates it. I mean, McKenna and Logan, they've noticed, and even Matt's noticed different things. Like if he'll see me stitching on something, he'll say, is that new? Dumb question. It's kind of like one of those things where you stick clothes in your closet, and then you wear it for the first time and they say, is that new?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's new. Yeah.
Tis. Cole, our grandson, when he was about 5, somebody was giving me a hard time about stitching because when I didn't have a lot of, what do I want to say? I wasn't at a place where the pain in my back was managed very well. And the one thing that would dissuade me and distract me from that was my stitching. So I carried it everywhere. I had it with me if we were in the car. I took it with me if we went to visit somebody, and just something to have my attention. And somebody was giving me a hard time about always having my stitching. And Cole said, don't pick on Mom. She makes really pretty things with her thread and her floss and her fabric. And I thought, way to go. He's like 5. It's like, way to go, Cole.
That's right.
Defend Mom.
Okay, step stitching floss tube. This is cute. If you had 1 hour and $1,000 to spend on needlework fun, where would you go and what would you buy? $1,000.
Yep. If it were me.
And we had an hour.
Yep.
Okay, so.
And
how long is
if
it?
I don't have to use my $1,000 for travel, so it's anywhere, right? I could go anywhere. I just had $1,000 in 1 hour.
$1,000 in 1 hour to spend it.
I think I'd be at the attic.
Yeah?
Yep. Be it. It's one thing I haven't done yet. You
Yeah.
and I talk about that.
Yeah.
So I think I'd go there.
That's a good one. Okay, I'd be with you.
All right, we're going.
So we're going to the attic.
The other thing that crossed my mind when I first heard the question was, I could get on a cruise. I could go to an island. So I was thinking of traveling too, and how could we fit all of that into $1,000 was on my mind.
I don't know.
Be a little tough, wouldn't it?
All right, next one. The Dale's Stitcher. Have you talked about or decided who will get all of your cross-stitch supplies when you're no longer here?
Yeah. I did ask Deb one time, I said, if I put some stuff in a bin, just things I think the grandkids might want to stitch or play with, I said, can you see they get that little box? And she said, no problem. Said the rest is fair game.
Got it. Yep. You're welcome to it all, kid. This is Debbie Mason. What's been your most challenging cross-stitch project that you've completed? And what was the challenging part? I know for me, I think it was that Around the World sampler that I did because the fabric was not cut correctly. So,
yes.
And I didn't know that. I started in the upper left-hand corner, so I'm stitching down and, stitching the whole way down, completing the whole thing. And all of a sudden...
And it was on scroll rods, so she didn't have any sense about how much fabric was left as she was working her way down either until the surprise ended.
Yeah. So then one day, I had to move my scroll and realized I was in trouble. Well, that was the very first time then that I had the challenge of, okay, I want to fit as much of this sampler in. I have to modify the rest of what's left. And that was the first time that I really tried to, I had to figure it out and maybe, move things around or omit certain things or change stitching over 1 instead of stitching over 2. And that was one of the best things that could have happened to me because it forced me to do it. And then I found out how much I love doing it. And it was so much fun. So that was definitely a challenge, because at first you just wanted to cry. And then it all worked out. So.
That's neat. I think you mentioned my piece with the Aztec stitch. For me, that was a milestone because we had just joined the Delaware Valley Historic Sampler Guild, and Betsy was teaching the class, and I had probably been doing my own finishing for about maybe 6 or 7 years, and that piece took me to techniques and a skill set that I hadn't tapped into yet. And so that was really exciting for me, especially when I saw it coming together and it fit, it matched, and it joined properly. And then I liked it enough that I thought, it doesn't have a place for a scissor. It's a needle book, basically. So I modified it even then at that point, and I stitched around some magnets, attached them in the back, and then added a small pair of scissors into the back of it. So actually it's got the needles and the scissors, and you can kind of drop it in a project bag and you have what you need. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Lady Legionnaire 13, her question is, what is the most emotional stitching project you have done and why?
Most emotional.
I know mine is, it's not even a large piece. I've shown it. It's been a while. It's a little, the sun's coming in. I'm getting closer to you.
Hello.
It's just some flowers. My aunt had actually given me the pattern. It's not very big.
It's by Cedar Hill.
Okay. All right. But that was the piece that I took with me every day to the hospital when my dad was in there for cancer and passed away. And I can still remember sitting there, stitching it, and even when I look at it today, hanging up on the wall, all that emotion is all still right there, because I can picture. I have a memory and a feeling to every single thing I stitch, but that I guess would be the most emotional because of I can even picture crying as I'm stitching and not even being able to like see the thread because of my tears, and Logan sitting next to me on the couch in Dad's room because he was just a toddler. I mean, he was not even in grade school then, so we'd pack his bag and he'd stay there with me all day, and every single day we were there. And then my brother would come at night when I would leave and take Logan home. So yeah, I would say that's definitely the most emotional.
Yeah. And it was funny because that was similar to me. I had 2 pieces, and both of them were when my parents had cancer. The first one was kind of just a winter scene. It's by Gloria and Pat. It was a snowman with a little bunny, and my mom had found a lump in her breast, and so she was going in for her initial surgical procedure to determine whether or not it was cancerous. So we were all in the waiting room, and I thought, Mom loves bunnies.
I was going to say, she loves bunnies.
She does, and it was Christmas time, so I brought it along, and I was working on it, and that was on that clustering too. It was on the large count. And I remember stitching that, and then ultimately I framed it for her and gave it to her. And then the other one is my Bethlehem piece.
Yeah.
And I did that when my dad was going through his treatments. And both of those are very special and emotional.
Yeah.
But both very different pieces too.
Yes.
So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And along with that, since you have 2 pieces, my other one that I would have chosen would be the piece I was working on that morning when the house exploded, when the gas explosion happened. I guess because that has a lot of emotion tied up in it. It even took me a while to get back to it and finish it because of that, because of just remembering that moment.
Yeah.
So those would definitely be my 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me see here. Okay. Debbie Carter. Okay, so her question is to both of us. Since you've been stitching for a long time and have all the cool things, what's the one thing that you would still love to have for your stitching? I know what that is.
It's the same for both of us. I'm still on my quest for the most comfortable floor stand for my back and my stitching, and I'm still on that quest. And when I get that and find it, you're going to know about it.
Yep, mine would be a floor frame from Patoki. That would be mine.
Yep.
One thing I would love to have, definitely.
Well, my conversations with them, I'm thinking that might be the one that does it, but we'll wait and see.
I know. Melody Patterson. Questions for both of us. What pattern have you both stitched, and not necessarily the same pattern, has been the most meaningful and why? She also says you're quite an enabler.
What?
Most meaningful.
See, that was a tough one because for me, it kind of goes back to that Bethlehem piece again.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's a statement of my faith as well as a tribute to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very much a leader and led our family through his faith too.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that piece, I think, ticks that box as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say most meaningful for me would be the Around the World Sampler, because at that time I had never stitched anything that large. I had never done some of the specialty stitches in there that are in there. Again, having to reconfigure the whole bottom part of it was all brand new to me. So it's meaningful because it feels like such an accomplishment,
Right.
I guess. You know, so I would say that one. Betsy Klein. What's one item in each of your craft rooms that is most important or most resembles you, whether personal or related to crafting, or is most essential to you?
At the risk of sounding really odd, I think my recliner.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer. Mine would be my scrapbooks of the kids, because they're still in my craft room, and that would be the most important and essential thing to me in there.
It's not like I could take my recliner and... Well, that's not true.
I was going to say, we have taken your recliner.
I was going to say, I couldn't just take my recliner and go, but we did. We did. We took it down to the shore and carried it up the elevator.
Merritt Crawford. So she says, well, thank you. She says, we're a joy to watch. And for her question, if the both of you could plan a trip anywhere in the world that you haven't been before for a stitching retreat, where would it be and why? Ooh. Anywhere in the world?
I know mine.
Where?
I would like to go to London. I never had an interest in it until I joined the EGA and got familiar with the Royal Needlework Academy, and then traced back needlework back through that path into Europe. And I'm just fascinated how they've had that
history
component in their history
that
so
we
far
don't
back.
have. Yeah. It would definitely be somewhere overseas. But I mean, I'd love to see Ireland.
Yep.
There's so many places I would love to see.
Well, I guess I said London, but I was thinking England.
Yeah, somewhere where there's a castle and we could have the stitching retreat in the castle.
Ooh,
wouldn't that be fun?
That would be.
Yeah.
That would be
So
really
many wonderful
fantastic.
choices. Yes. Okay, Leslie Link. Her question is, what is a favorite memory you have that is related to stitching? She has a favorite memory of her grandmother when she used to sit beside her and taught her how to cross stitch. So what is your favorite memory that has to do with stitching or is related to stitching?
I have kind of two that popped into mind when I heard the question, and Deb and I were reviewing these. One of them is familial. My sister-in-law, Karen, hi Karen, my mom and my sister Mickey, hello Mick, and I were all stitchers. And I can remember the number of times, whether it was a holiday evening after all the dishes were done and the guys were watching football or what was going on, and we'd all be in the living room stitching away, listening to music, visiting, watching the kids, whatever. And so my mind goes right back there. But the other one was our trip when we went to Tulsa, and for really odd reasons, but it was the first time we packed up and took a trip where we landed, rented a car, set up our own itinerary, and it included a small session of retreat time. The rest of it was all open time for us, and it was like a big excursion. And I just thought that was so much fun.
Yeah, yeah. And mine would be the moment we met at the retreat in Lancaster. You know, because I mean, gosh, that started everything.
It did.
You know,
it did.
So that's my number one. The next one is your YouTube name is A and then Curd. What did your husbands and children think when you told them you were going to do a floss tube? I don't think we told them.
No, we didn't. I'd been asking her about it because I'd been watching for years. And if you followed us for a long time, you'll know I needled her forever about it. And then finally I just thought, well, you know what, she's not interested. And I let it go. And then she strolls into Stitch that day and says, if we're going to do this one, let's just do it now and get it over with. I was like, oh, okay.
And 20 minutes later, floss tube number 1 was born.
Yes, it was.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, counting cross stitches. What is your favorite stitching memorable moment? Retreat, stitchy friend, shopping, or trip?
Wow. I don't know about favorite. I mean, it's memorable. I could come up with a lot of favorites, probably.
Yeah, I have a lot of favorites. I think my most memorable would be the moment that Gigi taught me to stitch, because I loved it it was just immediate. And I still remember, I can still picture myself sitting on her couch in the cabin. We had gone to their cabin up by Penn State and went to the Walmart to pick my, tiny little kid up. And I can still picture myself sitting on the couch and I didn't even want to put it down that night to go to sleep because I just fell in love with it. So I think that would be my most memorable moment with stitching. That has to do with stitching.
I was thinking about retreats and memorable moments when I heard the question. And when my mom turned 65, they had a cross-stitch festival, Spirit of Cross-Stitch Festival in Valley Forge. And it was coming up, and I wanted to do something different for Mom for her birthday. And of course, I just mentioned that Mick and I were both stitchers. So I got this bright idea that Mick and I would fund the trip. We'd contact Mom only after her birthday when we give her her packet of information. And so we selected classes that we thought we'd enjoy, and we registered Mom and Mick and I, and we all went on that retreat together. And that was the first retreat I'd ever been on. So that was one that always comes to mind when I think of retreats.
Yeah. Helen Stevenson. She said, her question is, what is the nicest thing that you like about each other? Be nice.
Honestly, for me, I think it's the fact that we share the same faith.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, because that's the core of our relationship.
I mean, we share so many different things. However, I mean, we're extremely faith-based, and the fact that we can share that and encourage each other and pray for each other, and
the other thing too that you wouldn't know about, but when we sit and talk about our background and our families, it is uncanny how many different things that occurred in my journey in my life through my family also occurred in hers.
Yeah.
And it's like we're little cookie cutters about 10 years apart. 10. You like that?
Yep.
10?
Yep.
Yeah. I like that too.
And it's funny because we had a couple other people say, are you sure you're not sisters? Are you sure you're not blood related? Like, yeah, we're related.
Yep.
Not by blood, but yes, we are.
We are sisters.
I definitely think of you as a sister. That's for sure. Did I say who that was? I did say Helen. Okay. Helen Stevenson. Okay. Lorraine Bergstrom. Her question is, how much time every day do you spend stitching, and do you try to fit in stitching every day?
I try.
We try, and we fail.
We try harder. I honestly, there was a time, and I think, this is a break in my normal, but I'm pretty consistent. There's periods where there are things changing in my world that make it difficult, but I think I get at least a half hour to an hour of stitching time. And sometimes it's a lot more than that, depending on if everybody's out of the house and I have the time to myself.
Right.
But I try every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned the trying part, because yes, we definitely try. I can't say that I get that accomplished every day.
Yep.
But like Liz said, then maybe another day I'll actually have an hour. But I do love having something on the floor stand, because if I really only have 10 minutes, there's no prep at all. I can seriously sit down, and for 10 minutes, I can get a little bit of stitching done. Even if it's only a few stitches, that's okay. Yeah. So, but we don't have set times. Like, at least I don't. No. I'm not someone who, every single morning, the very first thing I'm going to do is stitch. That would be awesome, but it just doesn't work that way.
No, not for my life. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't have a specific time every day. It's like, well, if it works out, fantastic.
Yeah.
And if not, we'll try tomorrow. Chris T, like the letter T. What item, whether it could be notion, fabric, style, anything like that, did you once love, but now you don't?
One item.
I think mine would be, before I found out about all the other like magnification things that I could try, there was this thing you wore around your neck, and it had this, it kind of propped right here. And it
magnifiers?
Yeah, but it like wore around your neck and you propped it here. And I was thinking, oh, that's a great idea. Your hands are free. It's right here. That'd be perfect. But for me, it was not after a little while, because it hurt my neck.
Okay.
For some reason. Just having something on my neck just bothered it.
Yeah.
So that one I didn't care for anymore.
I think for me, it's probably going to be a hoop, because when I first started stitching, I thought it was required.
Oh.
I thought everybody had to stitch in a hoop. That's part of cross stitching. And then I ran into somebody who was stitching without the hoop, and they were using a sewing method. And I thought, well, that's not cross stitch. That's sewing. Cross stitch, you go in, you go out, you go in, you go out, you go in, you go out. I thought, I don't know why they call that cross stitch, because that's not cross stitch. And then I discovered that is cross stitch. It's just another method of cross stitch. So I think the hoop was probably the one thing I thought I had to have, and I no longer feel the need to have. Depends on what I'm doing, though. For certainly silk gauze, that sort of thing, I definitely want my hoop. But.
Yeah. Okay. And this is our last comment. However, it's the one that we chose for our favorite comment, which means Lindsay Davis, you will be getting not only a little goodie bag from us, but you'll be getting the fob that Liz made special for our 20,000 subscribers. So congratulations.
And it's supposed to be sort of a fall-looking maze pattern, and it has a little charm with corn on it and Country Stitcher's initials.
And so her question is, what does sharing the joy of needlework really mean to you? Why is it important to keep this hobby alive and roaring? And
we both really like that question.
Yeah, I mean, that is the whole reason why we
exist. Because what it did is it captured the fact that our Flosstube channel is about our journey in needlework and how much we enjoy needlework, but the joy of needlework for us is the love of it that, well, my feelings, and I think they're reflected by both of us, is that I'm grateful that God gave me that interest. In my journey, if I had not had that, I'm not sure what I would have done many times. In times of happiness as well as difficult times.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
there is an innate joy for me when I do needlework.
Yes. And for when we can share it with anyone else.
Yes.
So that was definitely our top question, because you're right. That's us. We just love to share it. So, and it is true joy.
Yes.
So, yes. So if you heard your name on any of those questions, my email address is in our Dropbox. If you can get a hold of me and let me know that you're one of the 20 question winners, that would be awesome. I will get your address, and then so that I'm not making so many trips to the post office, I'll probably maybe wait until I have quite a few to send out at once. But I'll get back to you and let you know. And congratulations. And we want to thank you so much for making this so much fun for us.
And as we wrap up here, we want to remind you to visit Ana Luisa and make sure you see their Black Friday sale and take advantage of their buy one, get one 60% off.
Yeah.
And that's in the description box as well. This is a really special episode. Thank you for joining us. And
we just want to let you know that we are extremely blessed
that we can continue
sharing the joy of needlework.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.